You're listening to Procurement 6, the weekly podcast from the team at Art of Procurement that summarizes this week in procurement in just 6 short segments.
Hi there, my name's Helen Mackenzie and today is Friday, May 24th, 2024.
6.
I had to take some unplanned time off work recently and returned to my desk this week. I was curious as to how I could make my first day back super efficient, so, like all AI-obsessed procurement folk, I asked ChatGPT. Here are a few of the tips it shared. Prioritise your tasks. So, review your emails and messages. Start your day by going through emails, messages and other communications to catch up on what you missed. Make a to-do list. Prioritise your tasks based on urgency and importance. Focus on critical items that need immediate attention. Take it step by step. Avoid overloading. Don't try and do everything at once. Break down tasks into manageable steps to avoid feeling overwhelmed. And pace yourself. Allow yourself some time to get back into the groove. It's normal to need a bit of a time to regain full productivity. Stay organised. Update your calendar. Check your calendar for anything that you've missed and any upcoming deadlines. Reschedule or adjust your plans as necessary. Organise your workspace. A tidy workspace can help you feel more in control and focus. So there's the great tips, all served up to me from the click of a mouse. Thanks, ChatGPT.
5.
In this week's episode of Art of Procurement, Philip Idson was joined by Barbara Farouk, Senior Vice President, Market Strategy Procurement Solutions at SAP, to discuss how procurement can navigate the growing tension between the importance of gathering as much data as possible and the regulations and risks that inevitably come along with it. In the section I've chosen for you today, Barbara tells us more about that tension and why it might be a healthy thing. Let's take a listen.
It's very difficult to navigate even the legalese of this on what it means for procurement data, right? Because they're not necessarily targeting it as procurement data. It will be called payment information. We call something generic, but does it apply to procurement? So, there is this fear that exists in general, broadly speaking, right? If you look at it from a regulatory perspective about, especially when we talk about, everything going on in the world, about who has access to the data. And at the same time, we know that to make these models better, you need to give them more access to data, right? So I think, and that's why I think the way we move on this from a business perspective has to be measured and very responsible. And SAP has definitely made that, commitment. And we term it as obviously ethical AI, or responsible AI, right? Where we from a technology perspective, we are completely all in on this, right? We 100% are. We're throwing everything in the kitchen sink to make sure that we have the best available technology and the partnerships to deliver on this promise. But from the perspective of making sure that we are responsible for the way data is used, especially the data that our customers have in our cloud, we're being very, very measured, right? And I think that tension is a healthy tension that it is necessary to deliver the right outcome at the end. Right? So it might take more time, than what we might experience on when we're looking at all the amazing analytics that are impacting us on social media. But I think the end result of it is much more powerful because of the nature of the work we're talking about.
So, as tempting as it is to apply AI solutions as quickly as you can to improve the way procurement is working with data, Barbara makes a great point. Taking an ethical and responsible approach is a necessary step that procurement can't overlook. To listen to the full episode, go to artofprocurement.com/podcast, search for Art of Procurement and subscribe whether you listen to podcasts or click in the link in today's show notes.
4.
In this week's Art of Supply podcast episode, Kelly Barner looks at recent examples of employee activism, most notably at Google's offices in New York and California. And she shares the results of her research into what an employee's rights actually are in such cases. While most of today's corporations have social and environmental programs, even missions that they support and invest in, individual employees may be surprised to learn just how limited their own rights of free expression are once they walk through the front door of the office building. Employee activism is something that's been a feature of my working life here in the UK, so I can't wait to find out more. To hear the full episode, go to artofprocurement.com/supply or subscribe to Art of Supply wherever you listen to your audio entertainment, or sign up to receive the Art of Supply LinkedIn newsletter, which includes details of the podcast.
This is Procurement 6 from Art of Procurement. To get notified every time an episode is published, go to artofprocurement.com/subscribe. 3.
Data is one of the most valuable resources a company has, but having it versus being able to trust it and put it to work are two different things. In this week's new episode of the #Love Procurement podcast, Kelly Barner's joined by Joseph Yakura, who's a senior advisor at the MIT Chief Data Officer Information Quality Program, and Alex Sarek, Chief Marketing Officer at iValua, to talk about the importance of having a data strategy. In the episode, Kelly, Joseph and Alex discuss whether data quality or data accessibility is actually the larger challenge, the effort to designate and preserve a single source of truth across the business unit and enterprise systems, and how procurement can contribute to a data strategy above and beyond the work that's being done to meet business objectives through data. To listen to the episode, search for #Love Procurement wherever you get your podcasts, or check out the iValua channel on YouTube, where you can also see the conversation.
2.
Most of us are familiar with RFID tags. They're in things like clothing tags, hotel room cards, and a feature throughout the supply chain. I was amazed to see the stat shared by Martin Wright in an article on the Positive News website that 18 billion of them are made each year. With RFID use increasing for things like product traceability, that means this number's set to increase. And, as we all know, when things are produced, they also become waste. But the great news Martin shared in the article is that innovation is taking place in this space. Polpatronics, a company founded by Chloe So and Barnasoma Biro in the UK, has created RFID tags without the metal and chips by turning paper into conductive material that can be read by a scanner. Sounds like a fantastic innovation that can help reduce this source of waste in the supply chain, doesn't it? So to find out more, check out the article by using the link in today's show notes.
1.
Now, before we wrap up this episode of Procurement 6, I want to tell you about an upcoming AOP Live session which takes place on June 5th. Join us as we welcome Darshan Deshmukh, President at Procurability, to discuss the idea of human-centric AI and whether most of procurement sees this moment in our digital evolution as a renaissance or a reason for resistance. Attend live on June 5th at 11 a.m. Eastern Time, or sign up to receive access to the recording in your inbox by going to artofprocurement.com/calendar or by using the link in the show notes.
Thanks for listening. We'll be back next Friday at 6 a.m. U.S. Eastern Time. If you've enjoyed this pod, help us grow and tell your peers to search for Procurement 6 wherever they get their podcasts.